Representing the HRIS replacement project, we have Jennifer Torres, the Assistant Human Resources Director for the Public Utilities Commission. Please give her a warm round of applause.
Thank you. So I want everyone to imagine for a minute that your staff email, phone call, and take planned time off, and all of this information is relayed to a timekeeper who enters it into a database. About 6 weeks later, that database generates a timesheet. This piece of paper timesheet gets routed back to you. Now you get to go back and verify what was entered is actually accurate. Then you need to, of course, get all the signatures and submit the paperwork. If there's any corrections or errors, manually write them in, follow up with HR. A lot of time goes by before those corrections are done. All the while, you're not really sure whether or not you should be approving time off. Well, this was our reality. The Commission used HRIS not only as a leave tracking system and a position control system, but it generated the official timesheet. In October of 2013, we were notified that HRIS was going to sunset June 30 of 2014, giving us 9 months to come up with a completely new process and a new timesheet. The CPUC had an Oracle Forms application database that was built in-house that was a work tracking system. So we were able to collaborate and transform this work tracking system into an employee timesheet system. This allowed us to look at schedules, perform verifications and validations based on bargaining unit contracts, and splitting timesheets. It allows you to do everything electronically. Prior to ETS, our compliance was right around 70%, with significant errors and time spent going back, looking at information, tracking pieces of paper. Now our compliance is over 99% after having only implemented for a few months. So in 12 months, the Commission went from difficulty in compliance to almost full compliance. Future enhancements by building the system in-house will allow us to integrate with other systems built by Oracle applications, such as position control tracking and employee master table, taking the information and hours worked and translating them into specific projects. So now imagine you get an email telling you that you have a timesheet to approve. Imagine clicking in a system and seeing your employees' leave balances right at the click of a button. Imagine reviewing hours worked based on specific projects, all at your fingertips. Your geographically dispersed staff no longer having to scan or mail in papers, no errors or corrections from manual entry. All this information being loaded to the state controller system that issues pay. And the biggest benefit from this as well is the resource data, collecting all of the information needed to quantify and justify budget change proposals. You know exactly what staff are working on at any given time. So the CPUC was able to quickly turn a loss into a huge win by leveraging technology and using what we had to build this new system.
That's terrific. We're now having, I don't know that Russ mentioned this, but we have a 5-minute time frame for each of the entrants to answer the panel's questions. So I'll go first. Can you describe a little bit of the business reengineering you did of your process from the old system to the new system and what that took?
Yes, we completely started from scratch. We pretty much used nothing from the old system other than our work tracking system, which was not consistently used across the entire commission, but we did take the process from the HR perspective and completely change it. And we did that by using work groups of various stakeholders, the timekeepers, supervisors and managers, HR staff, IT staff, to come up with a streamlined approach.
One quick follow-up. Did you realize efficiencies in just reviewing the business reengineering of the process? In other words, do you now take fewer steps than you did before?
Absolutely. There was a lot of redundancies in the old process, and now we're able to rely on what the employee submits, rely on what the supervisor reviews, and there is a mechanism to make corrections, but we really aren't seeing the need to because everything is right there at your fingertips.
Thank you. Matt?
Thank you. Excellent presentation. So I'm curious how it came about that you decided to not just change your timekeeping, but also include in that the work tracking process. Was this through the work group process, or how did that idea come about, and what benefits have you seen?
So the decision to go with the work tracking system that we had in place was kind of an easy one. It didn't make sense to go back to paper when we had the opportunity to eliminate paper. It was also a great opportunity to create full compliance in using this system and just upgrade and retrofit it to fit the needs of the timesheet. So that was kind of an easy choice. The harder part was getting all of the business rules in place based on the bargaining unit contracts and different types of work week groups that we have so that we could manage and control it and it would work for everyone.
Okay. Thank you.
So you said you had about 9 months to do this. Could you tell me the size of the PUC? How many employees and how many, I guess, town cards you're actually talking about?
So the PUC is budgeted for 1,070 employees. We do have retired annuitants and students that can put us closer to 1,100.
That's pretty tremendous, thank you. Now, your original goal was to just change the time cards. As you were going along, I'm sure a lot of great ideas came up. How did you keep your project on track, and how did you capture these great ideas for future use?
We actually had a very good way to do that. We had so many ideas to make this kind of the perfect system. So we started making a list of our nice to haves and our need to haves. And so we do have plans for what we're calling phase 2 to upgrade and put in a lot of those nice to haves. But due to the short time frame, we did have to stay focused on the must haves.
We have just a few seconds. You said you are geographically dispersed at the PUC. How many locations do you have?
Well, we have inspectors that work all over the state, but our main office is in San Francisco, Sacramento, and Los Angeles.
Great. Okay. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Terrific presentation.
Thank you very much.